Mario Ruiz, how are you feeling, buddy, after that win? 1 down, 1 to go. This is LAFC Plus episode 79. We jump right into it after a victory. Mario, how you doing, buddy?
Feeling good. Like you said, 1 down, 1 to go, and we're just counting down the wins all the way up into that MLS Cup final, which everybody is hoping for. And I just like the spot that LAFC are in right now going forward, because they got the win, right? And the goals may not have been the prettiest goals, but the playoffs, we know that it's all about just advancing, getting the wins, handling your business. And now you have Austin up against the wall. And Austin is going to have to come out with a lot more aggressiveness, especially at home, especially up against the wall, win or go home for them. So this is a situation where LAFC, I think, could take advantage of. And I think Sonny and Denis can take advantage of the space that they're going to get. It's going to be an awesome game too. And I just can't wait for it. How you feeling, Dave?
Doing good, thanks. Obviously, a very good win in that first game. We don't have to wait too long. Game 2 coming up on Sunday as we approach it, so it's not like a super long, exactly, not a long turnaround, certainly. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for joining us there. We obviously do the show on YouTube. Also, you can hear us on all your places you get your podcast. We appreciate all the support. Subscribe, rate, review us, all that stuff. We really appreciate it. We can take whatever comments you want to make, good and bad. There's a few of those. Not very many bad, thankfully. I mean, that's nice. The show is really doing well, and we appreciate all your support. But if you're on YouTube, you can see our graphic, 1 down, WONE. And that kind of how that game went. It was down and dirty in a lot of ways. That's how Austin needed and wanted to play, Mario. That is their MO. They were coming out really from literally the opening whistle, and maybe an unlikely source going right at Son Heung-Min, getting physical through Ilie Sanchez, really, from the opening whistle. And he didn't do all of it by any means. There was plenty to go around for Son. He took a beating, but we had to win down and dirty. Well, that's what you got to do sometimes, and quality shown out. And LAFC get the 2-0 victory. Mario, it was an own goal through, I thought, really, Ryan Hollingshead setting up the goal. He had a beautiful play to kind of just destroy the defense, kind of put them on their heels, rather, and then obviously the own goal off of Brendan Hines-Ike. And then the game winner. And here's what that sounded like in the 79th minute.
Leads it for Denis, right-footed shot, back post, and in! They're going to say Ordaz touched it. Austin says Ordaz hit it before it went in, and he would be offside. The assistant referee's flag stays down. Denis has scored. LAFC lead 2-1. Will this goal hold up? Austin, all their team immediately ran towards the assistant saying Ordaz had touched it before it went in and that he would have been offside. I'm getting a replay now. What a pass from Son and a good finish from Denis. Well, Ordaz wasn't offside on the shot, even if he touched it.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that was confusing in a way was Ordaz immediately kind of put his hands to his head, like, oh no, maybe I was offside. Like he's not sure, obviously, in the heat of the moment. But he wasn't, as it turned out. Clearly, it was a good call. But it's one of those where whenever someone touches it like that, Mario, 99.9% of the time they are offside, on the shot, the initial shot.
What a weird way for Nathan Ordaz to get that first playoff goal, because like you said, his reaction, says it all, just so real. He's not sure if he's offsides. He's not sure if the ball was already going in. He's not sure if maybe it was going to hit the post or not, but he did do the right thing, because I think even Denis got to be happy for him. Denis got to be happy for Nathan to get that goal. Whether it was Denis or Nathan, the whole team, including Denis, is just happy that they got the win. And his reaction, Nathan's reaction after the call, the VAR call, he points up and he's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just so real, which we love those type of moments, but yeah, he did the right thing. I mean, you have to do that because you don't know. You don't know if it's going to hit the post or not. So he was there, he tapped it in, and luckily it all
really
worked out
was
for LAFC.
Close. That one may have not gone in the more I watch it.
It was going to hit the inside of the post, but even if it hits the inside of the post, does not, 100% mean that it's going in. It could have kind of, went along the line or outside the line, whatever. But yeah, to tap it in is the right move.
And Ordaz doesn't know if Stuver is scrambling back, and maybe if it does hit the inside of the post, Stuver might be able to grab it if he doesn't. It's all bang, bang play anyway. You have to do what you got to do. And he was clearly onside on the shot. Now, it ended up clear. The defender's arm. That's what – I don't know that they would have called a handball necessarily, though, if it didn't go in, because the defender really – it was not – he wasn't doing it intentionally. But the arm was a little bit away behind him, so – I even said on the broadcast, they got a lot to look at here because, you think, okay, if it's offside, it doesn't matter. Like, that's everything. Like, even if the ball hits somebody's arm or whatever. And it did go in, so then the handball is irrelevant at that point. He's either offside or not, but he wasn't on the initial shot. Again, it was a bang-bang play. You don't really know that in the heat of the moment. That's why Austin freaked out. Of course, they're trying everything. They all ran to the assistant, like, screaming, like, he touched it, because they assume he's offside on the shot. But it kind of takes away a little bit from the actual play itself. Son Heung-Min just dribbling through defender, going through the defense. Denis making a great run, getting himself to space, and then Son delivering a perfect ball to Denis. Now, it was good defense in the sense they got back. Austin blocked the shot, technically, but LAFC were still. But it was still just a great setup.
That's why you say any goal is a good goal. A lot of people say that any goal is a good goal. I say that a lot because oftentimes maybe the last touch wasn't the prettiest or the nicest, but the buildup and the passing and the play, the situation leading up to the goal is a good one. So that's why every goal is a good goal. And also because there's not very many goals in games. So any goal you can get is a good goal.
It's funny you say that. I'm going to do a little bit of a kind of going back in my own history. Formerly, I did games on television for Fox Soccer, and one line I tried to use, and it was a little, like I was trying to find my, like I was very early in my soccer broadcasting career. I'd been around for a little bit doing other stuff, but
finding your style, yeah,
and I was doing a little play-by-play, and one of the things I said was that was a beautiful goal because a goal is a beautiful thing. That's what I would always say, like after any goal, yeah. Well, exactly. Admittedly, some of my coworkers mocked me a little bit for that. Like it was just too cheesy or whatever. That's fine. I didn't continue it. That's you got to feel how a line works or doesn't work but the premise is exactly what you're talking about, right? Because a goal is a beautiful thing, no matter how ugly, because there are so few of them, as Mario says. That's perfect. And he's right. That's why I kept pointing out, and I did even to start this show, the Ryan Hollingshead setup of the own goal. Okay. Yeah. Now, it's a great goal in a sense that Hollingshead made that happen, with some beautiful moves, some great individual play. And you can't necessarily separate that, though we always do. Most own goals are because the offense beat the defense. Right? They did well and they got themselves in. Like, technically, what if the last touch on Denis' goal was the actual defender in front of Ordaz, let's say, and he just couldn't get out of the way, and that's another own goal. But the setup is beautiful. Now, again, Heinzike puts it in. It's an own goal. It's not Ryan Hollingshead's goal. I get it. That's the way it should be, right? But it's still the offense has to do something to force that 99 times out of 100. You don't just see guys putting the ball in the back of their net. I think it happens rarely, but that's the point. The offense. Yeah. But here's the issue. That's why we said one down and dirty in this game, Mario. None of these goals ended up being pretty because of it. These are not goals that are getting up on a highlight reel somewhere. Ryan Hollingshead's not showing that, his great-grandchildren that goal when he's 95 years old, and he's not saying, hey, this is one of my favorite, but it doesn't matter.
I love to see Ryan, though, and that playoff mustache do work in the playoffs, and I'm just so happy that he was able to help LAFC strike first and take the lead early, because we know how massive that is, and we've been talking about that leading into these playoffs. And I know it was that own goal off of Stuver. Stuver had a great game, by the way, as well. But you got to give Ryan that credit because this is something that he was trying to do. He knew that he was running out of real estate, right? Going to the goal line, running out of space, going into that corner. He's going to cross that, and he's going to cross it as hard as he can and on the ground just to create that chaos, as he called it. He said he's trying to create that chaos there in that 6-yard box area, because you never know, it's going to hit maybe one of your players, maybe it's going to hit one of their players, and it might just deflect right in because that's the type of angle that he was at. And that's something that I even teach my son. I said, hey, if you're running out of real estate, just cross it in really hard. It's going to deflect off of somebody, maybe go in,
Yeah.
And it could be an own goal, but you got to give Ryan as much credit, for that goal because he has that experience. He has that knowledge already. He's been in this league for so many years already. And I talked to him after the game in the walk-off interview on ESPN LA, and we'll get a chance here to listen to that one right now.
From us, we had them really pin.
Ryan, you guys had to dig deep for this one here after the 1-1 equalizer. What was the key to coming back and taking this game?
Yeah, I love our response from them tying it up 1-1. A mistake from us. We had them really pinned back. They didn't have a ton of chances, and so we gave them one. But you could tell the guys were still believing and still thinking we were going to get the winner. There was not a moment that we thought this is going to end in a tie or go to penalties. And so I love the belief. Nobody shut off. We kept attacking, created a bunch of good chances, and it was a matter of time before one fell.
They did sweep you guys in the regular season. How satisfying was it to flip the script here and take advantage here in the series?
Well, yeah, that's what we've been saying. They haven't seen the best of us in both matchups in the regular season, and so we knew we could bring something different. They're stingy, they don't create a ton. They're not super aggressive in the attack, but they send in kind of blind crosses and they sit in deep defensively. So hard to break a team down like that. But getting that first goal opens things up, got us a lot of good chances, and we got to be better at putting away one of those earlier. Go up 2-0, and that game's a whole different story. But we let them tie it up, and then great response from the guys.
Now that you guys are up one game, what's the mindset heading into Austin?
Yeah, it's clear just to go finish the series. Go end it there in Austin. We'll have nothing else on our mind. We're not thinking about coming back here for another game, although that'll make our fans sad. They'd love to see us one more extra time, but we're going to try to end it before we get there.
Love to see you, Ryan. Love to see the playoff mustache as well.
It's back, baby. It's back. And you see Kosi's too? We got a couple guys rocking the mustaches. We love it.
Very good. Very good stuff.
Kosi's mustache is blonde, though, which is kind of cool and kind of different. I love it.
I got to say, whoever's shooting that, if you see it on YouTube, go check it out. I love the shot. Because a lot of times in these interviews, Mario, everybody teaches you or tells you it's like the chest up, basically. Let's get tight. I love the angle there. It's you and him full, all the way down to the feet, essentially. And you can see so much of the stadium behind you guys and just people walking back. I love it. Actually, just a minor thing, but yeah.
Shout out to Reese who was shooting that.
I like the fact it's a little pulled back, like where you can see everything, and it's really good. Great interview, though, more importantly.
And shout out to Ryan, though, because he just re-signed with LAFC. He's here through 2027, so big shout out to Ryan for that. Everybody loves that. But low-key, LAFC is already locking down so many players. I think you and I talked about this. It was maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago that LAFC is locking down a solid core of players for years to come here at LAFC, which is hard to do in MLS. And oftentimes you got players that got to leave after one season. They got to, go and get the bigger contract or the better opportunity elsewhere because of the salary rules and all the restrictions in MLS. So, but LAFC have signed so many players. Heung-Min through 2027, Bawanga through 2027, Hollingshead through 2027, Aaron Long as well, Palencia through 2028. You got Tillman. I mean, so many players, key players, starters of this team are here for a while. This is a good sign for LAFC. And I think it's just, the organization, the club, the front office saying that this is the time, this is the moment. We got to seize the moment with all these players that we have, especially with Son and Denis together. You got to take advantage and try to win as much as possible.
Well, it also is an interesting message to whoever the new manager is, in a sense, that this is telling that manager, whoever that is, we believe in this core of players, right?
True.
We think you have the team here to win, so here's what you have here. Of course you're going to make tweaks. You can always, John Thornton's always working, and we see that every year, right? It's nonstop. So there's always going to be possibilities of adding players, no doubt. Of course, we didn't know Son Heung-Min would be one of them even this year when the year started, right? I mean, did anybody have that on their bingo card to begin? No. Not one person. Maybe not even John Thornton and his staff. I don't know what the timing is for that. When they started thinking about this, might have been, maybe it was before the season, but we didn't. Nobody in any way, shape, or form. So there's always tweaking, and tinkering and getting it. But this is telling the next manager, like, we are ready. Here we go. And it's telling the fans that too. This is what John Thorrington and his staff believe. You better believe them based on their track record. So, I'm ready. I'm excited. Obviously we got a lot of work to do in this playoff, but I'm excited already for 2026 too. It's going to be a lot of fun, but there's still much to be had here. One thing about this, Mario, is what we always talk about on this show. And if you're kind of new to LAFC and new to the show, welcome. We always say, just make the opposition score world-class goals, right? Limit the garbage goals. Don't give them easy ones. Unfortunately, I don't think yesterday's goal for Austin was, some thing of beauty. Now, the pass by Owen Wolff, the very last touch before Gallagher gets the goal, is amazing. Okay, I'll give Owen Wolff credit there. He is the one guy.
Yeah.
It appears on Austin who could hurt you, and really this year has hurt you. I mean, it's not just a could. He has now 2 assists and a goal against LAFC in 3 games.
We talked about him in the pregame show before
Absolutely.
Game 1, and then now we're talking about him now still because he's probably the heartbeat of that team, and anything that they're going to create offensively, which is not much. I mean, they have the fewest goals in the Western Conference, but anything they do create is probably because of him. And the other side of it is if you can stop him, and I think LAFC do have an idea of how to stop him. If you do stop him, then you can shut down Austin FC, I think. So I think we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and
I see how tough they try to come out, because they did try to come in, try to muck things up, like you said, with the whole Ilie thing right at the whistle there. I think he tried to set the tone. He tried to let his teammates know that, yes, that's my former team, but I'm the captain of the Verde now, so I'm gonna stand up, and stand tall up against these guys, especially Son Heung-Min, because I'm not even sure how much was shown on the Apple TV broadcast, but they kind of collided like twice, like right before the whistle. And then right when the whistle, they went full speed and collided. And it was hard to see Ilie do that to our players. But
here's the thing.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. He's a captain. He's trying to set the tone and be like, hey, I'm riding for you guys. I'm riding for you guys.
But it immediately told me something, Mario. Here's what it kind of hits me at. And again, this is not an indictment of Ilie Sanchez, one of the finest human beings on the planet. Yeah. We love him.
We know him on
and off the field, like a brother. What it tells me, and you're right, he's trying to set the tone. It tells me that Austin doesn't believe they can beat LAFC just playing, right? We see this even the way they play, but it also takes it a step further when they're just trying to go after Son physically. Okay, it's a strategy. This is not unknown in sports, right? You're going to try to hack Shaq. You're going to try to beat up LeBron James. You're going to try to own Michael Jordan until he can't, put up a shot, or Kobe. Yes, this is a strategy, so it's not like unheard of, but it tells you what they really think of themselves in the end, right? And again, they're right. That's my point. Austin cannot play with LAFC. That's just not where they're at as an organization. Now, they can still win the series, first and foremost, Mario. Let me just lay that out. This is not over. I'm not sitting here. Yeah, I'm not trying to denigrate them to the point where they cannot win. They can't play the way a certain way and win, is my point. They have to.
And I also think that Austin may look at LAFC as like one of their bitter rivals. I think in their short history, they think that, but I'm not sure if LAFC think that at all. They don't think Austin is like a rival or nothing like that. There's the Sounders, there's a Galaxy.
I don't think it's so much rivalry, Mario. I think you're onto something, but they've got Copa Tejas, they've got Houston, they've got FC Dallas. I think what it is, it's just LAFC. Everybody wants to beat us. So it's not so much Austin sees it as a rivalry. I think everybody gets up to play LAFC. And
LAFC was the one that knocked them out of the playoffs when they were in 2022.
They thought they had a shot.
LAFC went on to win the MLS Cup, and they were coming in really confident that year. But I think they're definitely looking for redemption on LAFC,
but they can't
the fact
play.
That they swept LAFC in the regular season. But now
this is what they've done all year too. They don't think they can play really against many teams in that sense. They can't open up. That's clearly Nico Estevez is the way he wants to play. This is it. Yeah. And the point being is, if you don't give them the cheap goal, they can't find enough goals to beat you. So, and again, that doesn't mean they're out of this. Unfortunately, like you still got to dig your way through this kind of series with a team like this.
That's why I'm interested to see what happens in game 2, because when Austin has to come out for the win, they can't sit back and just play defense like we know them to. They need to get out here and stay alive. They need to try to survive this thing. So I don't know,
Mario,
what will happen.
I don't think they're going to play. They'll try for 0-0 and go to penalties again. I mean, it's what they know, it's all they know in a sense under Nico Estevez.
I don't know. I'll be shocked if they try to do that again, being that the fact that their backs are up against the wall, like they have to come out and win, especially being at home.
Yeah, but how are they going to win is the point. Like you can win with PKs too. Like they will not open up. They don't think they can is the point. Like they would have by now. They scored 37 goals in the regular season and won 13 games, by the way. It's not like it kind of didn't work in a way. You got the 6th seed. Now, it's as high as they could go playing this way, mind you. So this is not a style where if I'm a fan looking 2 to 3 years down the road, you're that giddy about. You know what I mean? It doesn't really translate all that great in the how are you going to, can you really play this way for years on end? Like, we've seen it with a few
it's
coaches.
Scary to think. It's scary to think that if they do open up for this game, though, I mean, Sonny and Denis are just going to take advantage and attack all those spaces. And it could be a very, very fun night for LAFC attackers, for LAFC fans. And we know the guy's mentality because we talked to a few of the players. We talked to Sergi. We talked to Ryan after the game on the pitch after the final whistle. And both of them are saying we're going into Austin with the mentality to close this thing out. They really don't want to come back to BMO Stadium for a game 3. They know the fans would love to see, the players play another game at BMO Stadium in these playoffs. But they want to close it out in Austin. And I'm right there with them. And I think they could.
Well, I agree. But that's my point, too, in a sense. I hope that is exactly how LAFC play. Look, if Austin is going to do a certain thing, then take it to the extreme. Don't ever let them get out of their own half then. If they want to defend, then 90 minutes you're going to defend. And I mean every second. Like, don't ever let them even bring the ball out of their half. Don't back up. We saw it a little bit last night. Of course, LAFC was up 1-0, and that makes a difference. We want to hit them on the counterattack. Go into Austin. Let's flip the script here a little bit then. Give them 4% of the possession, not 44 or not 54. And I mean, just jam it down. If you want to defend, Nico, and you think this is the way you're going to win, then here, let's defend for all 90 minutes. And let's see if we can. You got to
give that Austin defense some credit, though, too, because they're very, very tough to break down. And then, they're stingy. They stick to that game plan. They don't budge. And then their goalkeeper, Brad Stuver, has had a great year. I mean, he keeps them into a lot of games, just like he did last night in game 1. He kept them in the game. He had a big stop on Heung-Min. Should have been a goal, would have been a golazo. He stopped him. He stopped a couple shots from Denis Bouanga. He stopped that header from Hollingshead that had a lot of pace on it. It was on frame. Any of these goals would have been 2-0, and then it would have been, the floodgates would have opened up for LAFC on goals. I guarantee you that. But he's a big-time player, and he's a big part of why they're in the playoffs, I think. And he'll keep them in this next game as well. I'm pretty sure of that.
Here's the thing about this matchup with Austin to me, and I'll say the things out loud that other people might not. This is the perfect opponent for LAFC. And I'll tell you why. Again, doesn't mean you're going to beat them. Like, you still have to go out and do it. Like, here's the thing. Some teams you only want to really play one-off games. Like, you'll take your chances. You think other teams, it isn't the worst thing to have the 3-game series for, if that makes sense. There's only a few of them like that. Like, I'm not that worried about most teams, honestly. You can play them one game, let's go. Whatever. Home, away, you got to do what you got to do. You prefer to be at home, but that's why you want to win in the regular season in MLS. But this is an Austin team where maybe one game, because they don't care about being home or road, they're going to play this way, in a way. So maybe it's not the best idea to get into the one game with Austin FC, whoever you are, right? This is the kind of team that's the perfect best of 3 opponents because there's just not enough offense for Austin there over the course of multiple games, where you think you're going to get more chances. Now, again, you might not bury them and you might give them a cheap goal and you might lose. You still might lose the series. You still have to go out and do it. But this is the perfect team for LAFC to play a 3-game series against. Now, it might only take 2 games.
That Austin tried to be a little bit more offensive minded, like in times, but still, it just wasn't. There wasn't much there. It wasn't enough. And to
LAFC's defensive credit, they've done that to a lot of teams too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Mario's right. Austin doesn't deliver a ton of offense, but also most teams that play LAFC happen to not deliver a ton of offense. It seems like that's happening more and more. But when
Austin do generate something, which is usually, a cheap type of goal, like it was last night, they capitalize. And that's the thing. In these playoffs, you have to capitalize on those moments and make sure that other teams do not capitalize on those moments. Don't give the opponents those loose balls in the box, those poor clearances. We can't be having those in the penalty box there. But yeah, that was a tough win for LAFC because it wasn't pretty, but I don't think we saw the best performance from LAFC. I don't think the league has seen the best playoff performance from LAFC just yet, and I think that is still to come. And I think the stars were there. Denis, Sonny, Hugo Lloris was in goal, but they just weren't clicking. They just weren't in rhythm. And I think maybe that long layoff, might have had a little bit to do with it. And I think that squeezing out the win, taking care of business, is going to help build momentum. And then, hey, if you take care of business in game 2, then it's all about having that health, being hot, that rhythm, momentum, and just riding that through the playoffs. You want to be hot. You want to have all that just working together as you're making this run towards a trophy.
Well, as you talk about that, just getting through the game and getting through the series, that's what all the playoffs are about with MLS. We look around here, around the rest of MLS, the other playoff game ones, there wasn't a lot of amazing performances. I mean, Vancouver thrashing Dallas, which is to be expected. Miami played very well against Nashville, to be fair, for the second straight game, because remember, they played on decision day. Miami handled Nashville at home. Frankly, the only team that didn't win at home was Charlotte without Wilfried Zaha, who got that weird red card, the dumb red card of the final game of decision day. So everybody else at home held serve. Even in draws, the team that happened to be the home team won the penalty shootout, so they still get the win. So, everything's holding court, and that's, again, why Mario and I always tell everybody, you got to win in the regular season. Home field in the playoffs. It makes a difference. Look at what happens to these teams. Cincinnati, Columbus. Now, look, you could say Cincinnati's the better team. They're the home field. They had a better regular season. Maybe they're just better, but they won at home in a scrappy, horrible derby that is just always going to be back and forth and beating each other up. And the hell is real derby is appropriately named. It is just tough. And Cincinnati at home takes advantage and they get the win. You can't stress it enough. San Diego, not the greatest performances for these teams, Cincinnati, San Diego, but you get the win. You beat Portland 2-1 in the 1-8. You don't allow Portland to kind of have too much, maybe we can pull off this. Nah, you beat them in that game 1. And I thought that was a big win for San Diego, Mario, because we've seen Western Conference teams who are, new teams that have a great year and then just absolutely fall on their face in the playoffs. And
it's interesting to see what San Diego will do in game 2, because Chucky Lozano is expected to be back for that one. And San Diego is already, taking care of business in game 1. They won the game. They won decision day before that. So they won 2 in a row without him already. So do they just, throw him back into the starting 11, bring him in off the bench? I mean, is he going to disrupt the flow? We know the back and forth that they had a few weeks ago in the locker room. So that's interesting to me to see how they incorporate Chucky going forward in this postseason.
Well, it will be tough for San Diego if they get through, which it looks like they will. We've predicted that. They might have to take on Minnesota at home, or Seattle, of course, but they would be at home. But Minnesota's another one of those Austin teams. They want to win 0-0 on penalties, and they don't care how they get there, and they don't care if it's at home, on the road. They're going to make it, and they're even better than Austin, obviously. So that's another one of those teams, San Diego might have their hands full with that one, even at home, because Minnesota gives you nothing, realistically.
And Seattle almost snuck out of Minnesota with that win, like you said, going to that PK shootout.
Remember, the only 2 upsets I picked weren't even massive upsets. The only ones I could find in the first round, in my opinion, were the 5 versus 4s in both conferences. I thought both Seattle and NYCFC will win the series. Now, again, neither one of them are over yet by any means, but NYCFC is the only team that did get the win on the road. I think
if Seattle does win at home in Game 2, I think they go into Minnesota.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in Game 3. One. Yeah, I'm with you. Now, as it stands, everything else holding serve. We'll see what happens. LAFC at Austin FC looking to close it out Sunday. Again, airtime on the ESPN LA app for us with the radio call on 710 is 5 p.m. Pacific. Again, that's on ESPN LA's app. It's easy. Download it. Super easy to find LAFC. Click a button and you're listening to us, and I really appreciate that. I can't wait to call this match for you. Again, the pregame 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's Game 2 at Austin FC. Mario, great episode. We're approaching 80, episode 79 in the books. Can you believe it? We're just getting started, though, in these playoffs, man. Take us out of here, brother.
Yeah, this is the best time of the year right now for MLS. We're into the playoffs. It's crunch time. LAFC have everything going their way. They got the deadliest duo in MLS, so continue to get behind this black and gold, and let's go Sunday, and let's handle business in Austin in Game 2. That's Dave Denholm. I'm Mario Ruiz. We'll catch you on the next episode of LAFC Plus. Peace.